Hello from Kirkwall, Kirkwall Travel Centre. I'm just about to hop on a bus up to Tingwall and from there do a little bit of island hopping. That's the plan. Going to have a little trip round the islands of Rousay, Egilsay and Wyre. So why don't you come along and see how it goes? Just a single to Tingwall, please. Just got it.
Lovely.
Lovely, thank you. I'm on the 11:15 service from Kirkwall, and 23 minutes later, we've arrived at Tingwall. Thanks very much. Cheers. Have a good day yourself. Thank you. And I'm on the 11:50 sailing from Tingwall, and we're due to arrive in Rousay at 12:15. And the vessel I'm sailing on today is the MV Eynhallow, built in 1987 by David Abels in Bristol, England. Eynhallow is named after the island of Eynhallow, which lies between Rousay and the Orkney mainland. So let's get inside and check out the facilities. Hiya. Hello. Passenger accommodation is made up of both single seating and benches, and there is also a healthy supply of life jackets, which is always most welcome. So this is where we are, and then we're going to here, over to Rousay, up to Egilsay, down to Wyre, back to Rousay, back to Tingwall. What a fine day out. Sadly, the drinks machine was out of order. I didn't have any change on me anyway, and there is also a toilet on board. And the builder's plate confirms that the ship was constructed by David Abels in 1987. We depart the slipway at 11:50 with a few more passengers on board who perhaps wisely chose to stay within the confines of their warm and cosy cars rather than brave the absolutely freezing January Orkney weather. There was of course one idiot who chose to brave the freezing January Orkney weather. Wi-Fi was offered, and do you know what? It was really good. Soon we're making our approach to the slipway on Rousay. Rousay, which is also nicknamed the Egypt of the North due to its many archaeological findings. I suspect Egypt is not called the Rousay of the South, but you never know. Welcome to Rousay. Okay, so that's me on Rousay. So that's island 1 of 3. We've got a wait of an hour before we head on. So I'm just going to have a little wander and then go back to the waiting room because it's blowing a gale. They said this is the best day of the week, and that's not saying much, but great fun all the same. So yeah, just gonna have a wee look around, and then 1:15 we set off for Egilsay and Wyre, then back to Rousay, and then on to Tingwall. So there we are, Rousay. We have arrived down here, and there's essentially just one road that goes all the way round. But for me, I'm not going to have a shower. I'm going to sit in the waiting room. A pleasant wee spot. So I think the crew of the Eynhallow thought, well, I don't know what they thought. I'm going to go with intrepid. A windy, wet, freezing January day to be out and about island hopping. But that's all part of the fun. And you know what? The crew were incredible. They were all so friendly and so helpful, and that just adds to the whole experience. So yeah, so this, as I say, that's island 1 of 3. Going to sit here for a wee while, get back on board and see what else there is to see. So I'm just going to head down to the ferry now. They said to be there 15 minutes before we leave, and I think the wind has picked up, if anything. So yeah, that bodes well. Goodbye, waiting room. The place where we set off today from Tingwall, that comes from an Old Norse word, thing, meaning a meeting or assembly place. These were places where political decisions were made, laws were upheld, and disputes were settled. They acted as meeting places and were often the focus for trade and religious activity. And examples can be found in place names throughout Scandinavia, Scotland, England, and Ireland. In fact, the Manx Parliament is called the Tingwall, and once a year it returns to the ancient meeting place at Tingwall Hill for a ceremony which includes the proclamation of new laws that have been created through the year. I think what we can say is the Vikings got about. They leave their little fingerprints everywhere. Anyway, time to depart Rousay at 13:15, due to arrive in Egilsay at 13:20. Or will we? We leave Rousay at 13:15 and we're scheduled to arrive in Egilsay at 13:20. I'm not quite sure why. Every other sailing from Rousay to Egilsay takes either 15 or 20 minutes. This one's timetabled at 5 minutes. But hey ho, there we go. So, currently I am the only passenger on board from this sailing from Rousay to Egilsay. A member of the crew has said that no one's booked to come on at Egilsay except me. So they're not going to lower the ramp. They're just going to turn up, do their thing, go back. So I kind of feel I'm wasting Orkney Ferries' time and money. However, someone is getting on at Wyre, so I feel a little bit more easy about that. But yeah, what's done is done. Egilsay is arguably the most important site within the story of Magnus, Orkney's saint. It was on Egilsay that he was martyred, killed on the orders of his cousin Hakon with an axe blow to the head in the year 1117. Ironically, Magnus couldn't remember where he'd left his axe, and then it hit him. The island is largely farmland and is known for the St. Magnus Church. For hundreds of years, the story of St. Magnus, part of the Orkney Inga saga, was considered to be a legend until a skull with a large crack in it, such as had been struck by an axe, was found in the walls of the St Magnus Cathedral in Kirkwall. But for us, we just look on at how close we got to Egilsay. So we are just approaching Wyre, where some people are getting on, people who aren't just out for a pleasure cruise, but who actually need this as a lifeline service. So we're just going to hop out and film our approach. At Wyre, one vehicle with passenger joins the ferry, and on the right you might be able to spot that on the pier it has the word Canna painted on it. Did the pier in Wyre originally come from Canna, one of the islands on the west coast of Scotland? I'd love to know. If you know, please let me know in the comments. If it did, how did it end up on Wyre? And if history's your thing, well, there's plenty more of it on the island of Wyre. There are the 12th century Cubby Roos Castle and St Mary's Chapel. We're all loaded up, and at 13:55 we're leaving Wyre, due to arrive in Rousay at 1400 hours. Today's ferry, MV Eynhallow, has a top speed of 11 knots, and in 1991 she sailed to Buckie to have a 5-metre section inserted into her hull. This gives the ferry a capacity for 9 cars, and she can also carry 95 passengers. Like many vessels in the Orkney Ferries fleet, she is getting on. She'll be 40 years old in 2027 and is due for replacement. So it remains to be seen what ferry will soon be serving the islands of Rousay, Egilsay and Wyre. My Orkney Island hopping adventure cost me the grand sum of £6.70. You can't argue with that. And if you're interested, I purchased a Stagecoach Orkney day rider ticket, which gave me unlimited bus travel for 24 hours for the grand sum of £10. Arriving at Rousay for the final time on this video gives me the chance to say that if you've enjoyed what you've watched, why not consider subscribing to the channel, or leaving a comment, hitting the like button, even hyping the video should you feel the urge. All your support really helps. It keeps the channel growing, and for that I am very grateful. Channel memberships are also available to purchase, so that's tremendously exciting news. So all that remains is for us to load up the ferry here with a few vehicles, and for me to get absolutely soaked on our departure. leave Rousay at 14:10, due to arrive back in Tingwall on the Orkney mainland at 14:35, where there'll be another bus ready and waiting. Absolutely drenched.
Right, I'm going inside. It's freezing. Thanks very much. Cheers. See ya. So there we go. Rousay, kind of Egilsay and Wyre. And here comes the bus.
Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.